What's up everyone, Ghulam Ahmed, geneactivated.ca. Today I wanted to take you guys through a very fundamental leg exercise, and I'm going to take you through a few progressions on how to do it correctly, and it's called the lunges, okay? But I'm going to start with the stationary lunges because this is the one that I like to start off for beginners. So if you're a beginner, you've never done lunges before, the way I like you to start it off is by doing stationary lunges first. And the way to do that is you want to find something that you can use as a source of support. You can maybe find a stick or you can find a pole. And what you're doing ideally is you're making a 90-degree angle with both of your knees, okay? So if I'm going to hold on to this here, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to split my legs here like this. And then I want to make two 90-degree angles with both of my knees. So see, this is a 90 right here, okay? And then this is the other 90, right about there. So now from this position, what I have to do is I have to stand back up, okay? Now when I'm standing, I want to make sure that I'm pushing from this heel over here, and I want to make sure that my ball of my feet on that knee or that foot are on the floor. Now when I push from this heel, I want to make sure that my knee doesn't shift too far forward. It could shift a little bit. It could shift as far as it can go before the heel comes off the floor. So I don't want the heel to come off the floor when I come up. So let me show you a few reps to let you know what it looks like, and then we'll get into the details of it. So what you want to do is you want to use the support here so you can hold on to it, but if you don't need it, you don't have to hold on to this. You can just put your hands on your hips, but I'm going to use it just to show you, and then I'm going to push and come back, push and come back. Now I'm trying to put as less pressure as possible on the back leg. I'm trying to put all my pressure on my front leg here, and I'm pushing back and forth. 2, 3. Now all of the weight right now is on my quads, okay? And it's burning my quads already. I've only done 3, 4. The reason it's burning my quads already is because I'm doing the exercise effectively by driving my foot and all my force through the floor. Instead of thinking about coming up, I'm thinking about pushing as hard as I can into the floor with all of my body's weight. So it's pushing all the weight all onto my quads here, on my legs here. So what you're going to do is you're going to do about 10 to 15 on this side, and then you're going to switch feet exactly where this was, make two 90s again, and push the same way. Now once you get good at this, you can let go of the support, and then you can just do it like this. Okay, great. Now that's how you do the beginner's exercise for lunges, which is called stationary lunges. The next progression for that is what I like to call reverse lunges. So it's the same concept, but now you're going to actually step into it and out of the lunge. But you're going to start by stepping backwards. The reason I like to do that first is because it has very little impact on the knee joint. And if you're somebody that has knee issues and you struggle to do lunges, this would be a great place to start, because it's not going to make your knee accelerate. It's actually going to decelerate the knee. So it's going to slow it down, slow down the movement. So what you're going to do is it's going to look like this. You're going to stand here, okay? And you're going to take your foot back, drop your knee down again into the 90-degree angle, and then push back up. And back, and push back up. And back, and push back up. Now, when I'm doing this again, I'm driving through this heel, and I'm bringing my foot back into the right space. Driving through this heel, pulling it back. Just like that. So you notice how this is not putting any pressure on my knee, right? I'm just going right back and forth, just like that. Then I'm going to switch and do my other leg. Right? Now, a few things that I needed to point out that I didn't was that you want to make sure that your knee does not shift this way or that way. It has to stay right underneath the heel at all times. So you don't want to lunge up like this or like this. That's going to change the angle at which you're going to drive up, and that's going to mess up your knee. So you want to make sure the knee is always underneath the heel, okay? For the most part, it could lean forward depending on the ankle mobility that you have. It's okay. It can move forward as long as this doesn't happen. So if your heel comes off the floor, that's a no-no. You want to make sure your heel stays on the floor, just like this. Okay, you can do that. That's okay, no problem. Some trainers will tell you, oh, your knee can't go too far up over your toes. That's going to mess up your knee. It's not a big deal. It won't make a big difference as long as your heel is not coming off the floor. you should be fine. So that is the second progression. The third progression is going to be a forward lunge now. So it's a forward stationary lunge where you're going to walk forward to the lunge. So you're going to walk this way and come back. Instead of going back, which we did last time, we're going to step forward. Again, push through this part of the foot, the heel. Put all the pressure on the front leg and push back. All the pressure on the front leg and push back to the starting position. Again, we're pushing with the heels, okay? This is the most important part. When I see a lot of people doing lunges, they start pushing with their toe, and that's going to give you very, very little benefit. To maximize your muscle growth and strength for the lunge exercise, you want to push through the heel, and it'll also put less pressure on your knee joint because you're going to be using less of your knees to push back. So you're going to be able to recruit more quad and push back. So that's the forward lunge. The next progression after this would be to do walking lunges, okay? And that again is very similar to what we both practiced already. We've done reverse lunges, we've done forward lunges. So now walking lunges look like this. I put my hands on my hips and I'm gonna step. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push up and forward at the same time. So I'm gonna come back to the same spot. I'm gonna step, push up and forward at the same time, come back to the same spot. Push up and forward at the same time, come back to the same. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like on the side. So I'm gonna step, up and forward and back. Step, up and forward and back, okay? Now, that's how you do the various progressions of lunges. Now, you can make all of these lunges a lot harder by adding weight, okay? So what type of weights do you want to add? You can add a kettlebell, okay? So if I wanted to do stationary lunges, I can just hold this here, okay? And I can keep doing this. I can do the same thing with the reverse lunge. I can do the same thing with the forward lunge. I can also walk with this, doing walking lunges. So you can use a kettlebell, you can use a dumbbell, you can also use a barbell, right? So you can put a barbell on top and then you can walk with that. So there's various things that you can do to increase the force that you want, increase, I guess, the overload, the progressive overload for your muscles to make it a little bit more harder. But I'd recommend just going body weight up until you're able to do a lot of lunges. Maybe you can do walking lunges for 15 to 20 steps at a time, then I would incorporate adding some weight into that. Now, aside from this, a few other key pointers is where is your chest and your back going to be with respect to your hips and the rest of your lower body. So when you're doing a lunge, a lot of times what people do is when they're coming up, they overarch their back this way. And then when they come up, they kind of pinch their lower back. You don't want to overarch either. You actually want to be slightly bent over, slightly, very slightly. So your back should be straight, but you want to be slightly bent over here. And then you want to push in this position, like this, okay? Instead of being completely straight, because it happens sometimes when you're completely straight, you lean too far back and you start pinching your lower back and you're not able to recruit as much muscle mass. So this is also a great tip for transitioning into using the lunges to build a really nice butt, okay? So if you want to build a big butt or a nice big butt, what you have to do is you have to just change the dynamics of how you're going to be able to do the lunge. So if you stay more here, you're gonna feel predominantly in your quad, mostly in your quad, the muscle working, right? Now what I do is if I shift my weight more forward here, like this, so my stomach is gonna be touching my quad here, and then if I push with my heel up this way, I only use my butt mostly, like 80% butt, maybe 20% quad. So again, this way. So if you want to use your butt, you want to shift forward more and then push through the heel. That's the most important part. Drive through the heel and go forward in this position like this, and you will use your butt instead of your quad. If you want to use more quad, stay more in this position. Right? That applies the same thing with when you're doing reverse lunges or when you're doing forward lunges or when you're doing walking lunges. Okay? So hope you guys found that helpful, guys. There's other variations of lunges. There's the Bulgarian split squats. There's the Bulgarian lunges. There's different types of lunges that I'll cover in other videos. If you guys enjoyed that, guys, please let me know in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I love your support, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.